How you doing, guys? Big Mac Dan School here again today, back once again with another stream for you. A few technical difficulties meant it's been a bit all over the shop this morning. I hope you found me. I'm just going to see if I can, I think my channel is, I think it's set up a couple of streams on my channel for some reason, and it appears that I've got 2 people watching.
How you doing, guys?
There we go. It has come on, but the delay is horrendous on this one. And yeah, the camera's awful as well. But let's do our best with this. We've got the stream going now. We've got the Bard in the chat already. The Bard is now a moderator in the chat, so he can post a link to any appropriate pages that he needs to this time, instead of like on, was it Tuesday when I went live with a Nork video? Yeah, he wasn't able to post a link when he wanted to a Mortal Realms group, and that's what today's video is going to be about, Mortal Realms content. So, I was going to go live at about 5 minutes before 11, but I had a few technical difficulties that meant I couldn't. So, yeah, I was just going to chat and get everything set up in a nice casual manner, but then I wasn't able to for some reason. Streamlabs wasn't communicating properly with YouTube, so I had to figure my way through it. Make sure, if you are watching, make sure you give the video a like, and we'll hopefully get a few more viewers. I've just shared this on Facebook, but I don't know if I've actually shared the right thing now, because I think YouTube set up a couple of streams instead of just this one stream now. It gets a bit like that at times, YouTube. I'm just going to open another window on this other TV that I've got next to me, and then see if it's got a few streams set up, and I'll delete the ones that are not the appropriate ones. The ones that don't say they're live now, because this one says live now. But we'll find out how we're doing there. Right, that says live, but it doesn't say live now. Does that mean I get to delete that one? Oh, it says it's set up a stream for 7:06 PM. Not sure what that's about. Well, I can't do anything with that one for some reason. We'll just crack on, I suppose. Oh, I've got loads set up there. Streamed. I don't know what's going on here. I'll just crack on. And then hopefully people will find us. And if they don't find us during the live stream, they'll be able to find us after the stream. Yes, let's crack on with Mortal Realms content. What I'm going to be looking at today is one of the pullouts from Mortal Realms. I'll come to a desk down view so you can see a little bit of what I'm looking at. We've got Eddie Brennan in the chat as well. Good morning. I am getting parched already. I've just had a double espresso and it's made my mouth really dry. Right. Yes. Let's crack on. I've changed my phone to Do Not Disturb now as well, so hopefully we won't get any rude interruptions with things disturbing us. But yes, I know what I need to do. I waffle on until I realise what I need to do at times, and you probably notice that in my Conquest videos, especially when I go off on tangents and then have to get back on track. But then with Mortal Realms videos a little bit to a lesser extent, because I feel like I don't go off on as many tangents with Mortal Realms, because I don't know as much about the Mortal Realms as I do about Warhammer 40k. 3 of us watching now, excellent. Everybody, 3 likes as well, superb. I don't even need to tell you to like the stream. One of the people watching, by the way, is me, because I've got it on my other monitor here. Right, should we go to the desk down view and then we can take a look through this booklet together? And then, we've got another one, Nav's Hobby Corner in the chat. Fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Give us a like if you've not already done so, Nav. I'll go to the desk down view now, and then you can take a look at the sort of thing you get in this pull-out section. Oh no, that's not good. See if I can adjust that. There we go. Hopefully that'll stay like that now. Here we go. Right, let's crack on. So I'm just going to be reading through this reading through this pullout section. I'm getting distracted by the stream on the other screen here, so I'm going to make that a bit smaller so I don't get as distracted by it. Nav's Hobby Corner. If you're not already subscribed to Nav, make sure you do so. He's getting up some fresh hobby content on a regular basis. And Navini Studios as well, I think, is his other channel. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Nav. And yeah, make sure you check out his channel. And it's got some 40k appropriate music and just hobby appropriate music as well. Excellent stuff. Looks like Nav's already liked the video. I can't, you know what, the way I've got the camera set up here, I'm going to show you on this camera. The way I've got the camera set up here, I can't actually read past the thing to get to the magazine, so I'm going to have to work out the best position for myself. You know what, I could try and read it off the screen, I suppose, but that'd be weird, wouldn't it? What I'm going to do is lean over this way. Right, so Stormhosts organisation. The Stormhosts were designed and created by Sigmar thanks to the God King's wisdom. They are organised in a way that allows them to deploy quickly across the realms. All Stormhosts are divided into a series of chambers. Each of these chambers contains several conclaves of warriors that specialise in a particular type of combat. This organisational structure allows the Lord Commander and his Lord Celestants to quickly select and deploy the correct forces to face any combination of opponents. So it's a flexible fighting force, basically, very similar, and in my Mortal Realms videos you'll notice I do this, very similar to those forces that the Space Marines have available. The reason the Space Marines chapters are split up the way they are into companies is to make them flexible fighting forces, and it's very much the same. The case is very much the same for Stormcast Eternals. Just getting a bit of a look here. We've got a Lord Commander at the top of the structure, then you've got the Command Echelon, and then it splits us into 4 sections here: Heraldor Temple, Relictor Temple, Judicator Temple, or Judicator Temple rather, and Valedictor Temple. And then it splits us into various chambers. On this side we've got the Sacrosanct Chamber, Exemplar Chamber, Warrior Chamber, Harbinger Chamber, and Extremis Chamber, and the Vanguard Auxiliary Chamber as well. And then further down, right at the bottom, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that in shot, but these ones right down here at the bottom, we've got a Judicar Conclave and a Ruination Chamber, Covenant Chamber, and Logister Chamber. Basically, this is just the entire structure of the Stormcast Chambers. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'll just take a close look at the Extremis Chamber here. We've got a Lord Celestant. Lord Celestants are those dudes on massive Star Drakes. I think they are anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I've just done a little bit of research before the video started. But I think Lord Celestants are the ones on massive Star Drakes, and the Drakesworn Templars are also on these huge Star Drakes. And then you've got Dracothian Guard below that. The Dracothian Guard are on these horse-sized dragon type things, so they've got like a dragon head and dragon claws and stuff, but they're more like the size of a horse, so a big horse, but a horse nonetheless. And then you've got the Thunderwave Echelon below that as well, which again are Dracothian Guard. There are 2 different types of Dracothian Guard. The Tempesters are in the Lightning Echelon, and the Thunderwave Echelon are the Desolators. I think the Desolators, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're the ones with the close combat weapons, so the axes, more often than not. And I think the Lightning Echelon are the ones with the crossbows, but I might be wrong there. Let's see what's going on in the chat now. We've come nearly to the end of this page. We've got the Hobby Corner joining us now. We're stuck on the other screen, so the Hobby Corner's joined us from the other screen. Fantastic. So there is, like I suspected, a couple of streams up. Hopefully, it's not left too many people trapped over there. I think I only had the Hobby Corner and the Bard on the first stream at the time, so it seems like people are joining us nicely over here now. Kev, make sure you like the video, and that'll do me a massive favour in getting us. You know what? I'm going to put this big screen on again on the other side. 5 likes, and we've got how many people watching? Where does it tell you how many people are watching? 5 viewers, 5 likes. That's what we need. That's what we need. Idic Bear's joining us in the chat, shouting Necrons. What are these Necrons you're talking about? I think what you mean is Nighthaunts, Nick, because that's the only skeletal type warriors we get in the Age of Sigmar. Right, so more about your more about the conclaves. So the chambers and conclaves. Each of the Stormhosts is a vast military organisation containing many warriors. When a Stormhost is forged, they are assigned to a conclave that trains them in the art of war. Each conclave is dedicated to a particular role, and a warrior in each conclave are split into small units known as retinues. Necrons and more, of course, Nick. Necron's just correcting himself there. Necrons and more in the chat. Excellent. And whilst all Stormhosts are organised in a similar way, there are differences between each of them. Some, such as the Hammers of Sigmar, are known for the size and strength of their extremist chamber, while others, such as the Celestial Warbringers, have more sacrosanct chambers. Regardless of these differences, each Stormhost is more than capable of fighting multiple wars against a variety of opponents and emerging victorious. The way I view Stormhosts, again, I'll be comparing it to 40k. Morning modelling for advantage. Yeah, we're still on the morning, despite my delay in the stream going out. What I was going to say, the way I view the Stormhosts and the chambers and stuff is very much like the Space Marines were pre-heresy. So Legion size, they're like a Legion size force. So you split them down into smaller and smaller forces. But I think now Kev from the Hobby Corner might be able to correct me on this. I think he seems to know a little bit more about the lore than me. But I think they're like 10,000 strong rather than like 100, 200,000 strong like some of the Space Marine Legions were during the heresy. But I think they're like 10,000 strong, something like that. It may be more, maybe less. I'm not too sure. But yeah, let's flick over to the next page. Oh my word! Right, so on the next page we get a bit about Lord Ordinators. I'll see if I can get that. So you've got something lovely to look at there. That lovely picture. If I can avoid getting too much glare on it, it'll be nice. So Lord Ordinators are the creators and builders of the Stormcast Eternal's fortifications, as well as using their magical talents to read the future. They are responsible for overseeing the construction of every Stormkeep, using their incredible intelligence and faultless logic to ensure that these defensive structures are difficult to capture and as difficult to capture and destroy as possible. Can you tell I don't like reading in a live situation? We've got Essex boys in the chat as well now. Good morning, Essex boys. It's not really limited, but they're known to be around that, yeah. So as I thought, the Storm hosts are around the tens of thousands mark, low tens of thousands I'd expect, but I imagine those forged in the first striking maybe a little bit bigger than some of the newer Stormhosts, some of the second strikings. How many strikings have there been, Kev? Do you know that? It's a striking in the Age of Sigmar. A striking of a Stormhost is the equivalent to the foundings in 40k, so the Space Marine foundings of various chapters. Back to the text. Lord Ordinators also assist the mortal... I'll start again. Lord Ordinators also assist the mortal races, overseeing the construction of new cities, many of which grow up around a Stormkeep. If a Stormkeep should come under attack, the Lord Ordinator is more than capable of fighting alongside their troops and defending the great structures which they have created. Their hammers hit with the power of falling comet, and they can crush an enemy to the floor with a single strike. As you can see from this dude in the picture, it's he's a big beastie boy. He's got his bare arms he's just huge beast of a man that's got these two hammers, and in many ways the Lord Ordinators, I'd compare them to Tech Marines of 40k. So they are the forgers. They're not necessarily the builders rather than the forgers. So I guess they're not really Tech Marines, although you could maybe draw some comparisons. Tech Marines are more forgers than the Lord Ordinators, but that's they're more like a faction of the Mechanicum, I suppose. But you can't always draw parallels between 40k. I guess that's what this is teaching us. You can't always draw direct parallels between 40k and Age of Sigmar. What's going on in the chat now? Unknown. Yes. Right, I'm off for lunch. We'll be back the next time. Excellent, Nav. Thanks for joining us. Helps open up the possibilities of custom strikings, much like Space Marine chapters. Yeah. So not knowing how many strikings there have been, which is what the unknown referred to earlier in the chat. Not knowing how many strikings there have been helps open the possibilities of creating your own custom Stormhosts. I was going to say chapters and custom Stormhosts. In the same way that not knowing how many chapters there are 1,000 chapters of Space Marine supposedly, but all the people that play 40k around the world, plus the known chapters, that's probably more than 1,000. So yeah, there's always unknown elements in the universe and in the mortal realms. I want them to reveal the Lion for 40k in the announcement, in the big announcement that's coming this Saturday. You mean? Yeah, it's going to be exciting if they do release that. My suspicion is there's going to be sorry, I'm just getting distracted by the chat again. My suspicion is there's going to be an announcement for the next edition of 40k and a starter box, which possibly Idic Bear 40k or 40k and more, Necrons and more rather, may have an interest in, because supposedly there's rumours afoot now that there's going to be Necrons in the new starter box for 40k, and that would be a massive, massive boon for Necron players out there. And I think for people like me who have a sort of, a love-hate relationship with Necrons, it may be a chance for me to learn more about Necrons, because no doubt there'll be a bit of Necron lore in there, and I've always found Necron lore to be a little bit boring, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is boring. It just means I've not read the right lore, because I know I've listened to podcasts in the past that have spoken about Necrons, and they've specifically got me more excited about Necrons. There was the Independent Characters podcast where they do I think they call it a Show of Force episode, where they talk about a specific faction in 40k. And when they did the Necron one, I got a little bit more excited about Necron. So when I learn more about the lore, I can get into a race a bit more than I am already. But yeah, there's no guarantees there. But no doubt, if there's Space Marines there probably will be Space Marines in any new starter box that comes out for GW. So if it's Space Marines and Necrons, I'll get it just for the Space Marines, if nothing else. And then I'll probably chuck the Necrons in some sort of kill team force, or potentially convert them for Dark Mechanicum or something like that. That's if I don't get into the lore in any way, shape or form. But eventually I do want a kill team of every race available in 40k, so probably I'll use some of the models at least for a kill team. We'll see. Someone's being called a heretic in the chat there by the Bard. How offensive. Essex Boys, do they have as many named strikings as in 40k? I'm not too sure, to be honest. The number of strikings is unknown. I doubt there's. Well, I don't know how many foundings has there been in 40k in terms of Space Marine chapters. Is it 10, 13? I know that there was early on there was 3, and then I'm not sure how many foundings there's been in 40k, to be honest. And I'm not sure how many strikings there has been. I think it's unknown in Age of Sigmar, so they're leaving it open for you to create your own Stormhost, like Kev from the Hobby Corner said there. Officially, GW have named around 350 Space Marine chapters in 40k to date, not including those that have been named and destroyed. So there's at least 350 chapters, and then, like I said, there's that many 40k players around the world that no doubt at least 650 of them, more than 650 I would have thought, have got their own custom chapter. Therefore, it's clearly more than 1,000 if each chapter became canon right now. It's probably in the tens of thousands of chapters. New Necron Warrior kit on Saturday, potentially. I don't like the Necron Warrior kit, so if they change the Necron I keep saying Nec 1. If they change the Necron Warriors, then that could potentially draw my eye to Necrons if they make it a more appealing kit to me. Because they just look too spindly to me and too fragile, and they wouldn't strike. If I saw that coming across me on a battlefield, it wouldn't strike fear into me. It'd just be like, well, it looks like I could just push him over and he wouldn't be able to get up, or he'd struggle to get up. It'd be like watching a Boston Dynamics robot in one of those videos where they pick something up and just fall over, or they try and go upstairs and just fall over. That's what they look like to me. So aesthetically, especially with the Warriors, they don't appeal to me in that way. I'm talking massively about 40k here. It's supposed to be an Age of Sigmar video. I'll get to the bottom of the chat and then I'll get back on to Age of Sigmar. What about Stormcasts in AOS? Do they have different name strikings similar to chapters in 40k? So the strikings aren't like the chapters. The chapters are forged during strikings, and there might be any numbers of chapters forged during strikings. There might be, say, 10, there might be 100 chapters. Not chapters, sorry. The equivalent of a chapter in Age of Sigmar is a Stormhost. So the equivalent of a chapter is a Stormhost, and they do have different named Stormhosts. I'm sure Kev from the Hobby Corner can name a few in the chat, but you've got like the Celestial Vindicators, the Hammers of Sigmar. None of them are springing to mind for me at the minute other than them two, but I'm sure people can name some in the chat for you if you want to know a little bit more, Essex boys. There's on a semi-regular basis, like every 2 weeks now when I'm getting the Mortal Realms videos up on Thursdays, I typically name at least one Stormhost in each of those videos, and quite often I'll name 2 or 3 Stormhosts. At least 26 foundings so far in 40k. I thought we were talking about AOS. Yes, Kev from the Hobby Corner, we are talking about AOS. I'll just read this last comment and then crack back on with the AOS. If GW made all of fan chapters canon, we'd have Bony Marine. Yeah, we'd have Brony Marines and Kitty Marines, Pretty Marines and Angry Marines as legal. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Anyway, back to Age of Sigmar now. So this fella, like I was saying, he's a builder basically. Lord Ordinator Vorus Starstrike of the Hammers of Sigmar. Hammers of Sigmar, there's a Stormhost for you. Vorus Starstrike of the Hammers of Sigmar with great... reads the stars with great accuracy. I don't read this text with great accuracy though. His hammers have shaped the stone of many temples to the God King's eternal glory. Flicking on to the next page, this is more about Stormkeeps. Whoa, it's all text, so there's not really a nice picture for you to look at there. What I might do is come back to the face focus. Way, how you doing, guys? I've got some really bad blemishes on my face in this light. Let me have a look in the mirror. Yeah, it's like I get bad skin all the time. People sometimes comment on it in my videos. And I had a customer once in my last job that he thought I'd burnt my face, but I just get really dry skin all around here. But that's all it is. And I get like a blotchy skin as well. It's like a mixture of rosacea and eczema. But anyway, less about my skincare regime, or lack thereof. Stormkeeps. Stormkeeps are fortresses crafted by the Stormcast Eternals. Stormkeeps are among the mightiest fortresses in any of the mortal realms. Many foes of Order have attempted to conquer a Stormkeep, but few have succeeded in breaching the walls of these impregnable structures. The first Stormkeeps were built to defend the Realm Gates. Sigmar's armies had captured these portals during the Realm Gate Wars and desperately needed to hold them against the forces of chaos. To assist the Stormhost in their tasks, masons, artisans and labourers arrived from Azerheim. Men, elves and Dwarden worked together to construct vast Stormkeeps around each of the conquered realm gates. Lord Castellans and Lord Relictors worked with elven mortals to work on the magical defences of each Stormkeep, for they need to be able to stand against a horde of demons. As the years passed, the Stormkeeps continued to grow in size, from small forts to giant citadels with towering walls and soaring towers. Some Stormkeeps have since become legendary. Fort Ignis, the Perspicarium, the Black Nexus, and the Oakenspire. All are known as impenetrable strongholds of order. Let's get back to the chat after that little bit of dipping into Age of Sigmar. Let's see what we can get to distract us 40k. Where's in the chat now? I see, thanks. Just getting into AOS. Have been watching your AOS vids and has been helping. Excellent stuff. That's why I do the videos. After I did the Conquest videos, a lot of people wanted me to cover Mortal Realms. I wasn't going to at first because neither of the factions appeal to me really, or neither of the factions appeal to me before I started reading the Mortal Realms magazines myself. Since then, I've started to appreciate the Night Haunts more. The Stormcast I'm still not loving. I'm likely to be, at some point in the future, I'm likely to be moving my Stormcasts on somehow. I'm not entirely sure yet. It's not entirely decided. But it may be something to do with Patreon. We'll see. But, yeah, the reason I do the videos is because people, I think, not everybody wants to sit there and read the magazine. We've got 8 people viewing now, which is excellent. Thanks very much for watching, guys. And we have 8 likes on the video as well, which is superb. 8 people watching, 8 likes. It's like magic, isn't it? Yeah, so the reason I do the Mortal Realms videos is to learn about Age of Sigmar myself, but also help other people learn about it. Not everybody wants to sit there and read the magazines, so if they can be working on their miniatures while someone else is basically telling them what's in the pages of the magazine, then that's the kind of way I like to do my hobby. When I'm hobbying, I like to have something hobby related on in the background. YouTube videos. I was just watching before I started this. Just watching Skarne's stream from Sunday with Broadsword Wargaming. They're just hobbying themselves and chatting on stream. And I was on Skarne's stream a few weeks back. Plastic Crack Gaming, his channel's called now. So make sure you check out Plastic Crack Gaming when you get a sec. If you want some good hobby content. I think it's every 2 weeks he does a hobby hangout stream where he just gets a guest on and they chat and build and paint, or paint more often than not. Yes, so back in the chat, just check the books. the Stormhosts books should mention a number of different strikings. Yeah, so if I was to ever get into Age of Sigmar in a big way, I might get the books and then know how many different strikings were. I could also find out on the internet, I'm sure. 9 people watching now. Oh, excellent. Yeah, 9 people watching. Got Jim Cook. Bring back the old world. They are bringing back the old world, aren't they? And there's some nice looking Kislev bear miniatures coming out. Look very much like the bears you see in the various versions of the Northern Lights trilogy of books released in film and TV form. Very much like the fighting bears, or whatever they're called there, the warrior bears. Armoured bears, that's what they call them. Very much like them. But yeah, it looks like there are going to be some good miniatures coming out in the future. I think Cromlech have some good bear miniatures as well that you could check out if you are interested in the old world and want some Kislev bears. But I think there's dwarves riding them and stuff. I don't know the lore around the old world. I never got into Warhammer Fantasy myself. But talking about lore, I listened to the Drachenfels book. I listened to the book Drachenfels when it was available for 99p on the Black Library audio app. Downloaded that and I listened to that and I really enjoyed that. I'm listening to an Age of Sigmar one now, Sacrosanct and Other Stories, that I think was available a couple of weeks ago. Downloaded that, and the first story is about Stormcasts, and I'm not really into it, to be honest. I think the Stormcasts come across as really pompous and irritating more than anything. Like I find the other races, the other factions rather, I find them more relatable. So like Death and stuff like that, I find them more relatable than the Stormcast. I can't really relate to a Stormcast because they're all haughty and pompous. Back in the chat, the mini range is very nice. I assume you mean for Age of Sigmar, but I'm not sure. It's becoming bigger and bigger, the range of miniatures for the Age of Sigmar, so that's great. What do you think about Mortal Realms staying fortnightly for the indefinite future? I find it a bit irritating because it means I can't get a video up every week, but it also means it it's easier on me. But I get these filler videos in, and at the minute, this is the last pull-out. I'll go back down to the desk cam. At the minute, this is the last pull-out from the Mortal Realms magazines. So next week's video will be one of the issues, issue 16 I think, or 15, I can't remember. I think we did 15 last time, so I think it's 16. And then the following week I might not have a filler video like this, so I might have to build something on stream instead, or just talk a little bit more about the lore, do a bit of lore research myself, or maybe do a non-Mortal Realms video on a Thursday, which would be unthinkable to some of my viewers, I know. But it is what it is, and with the current world situation, I understand why they've decided to do it. I also think it helps them, potentially helps Hatchet, because they are that bad at distribution and getting things out to subscribers on time and stuff like that. It might actually help them catch up, so I don't see it as a bad thing. Hopefully something good like that can come of it, but we'll see. We'll see how they get on in the coming weeks and months. Aren't they digging back some version? Yeah, they're bringing back some version of Warhammer Fantasy Battle via the Specialist Games division at Games Workshop. I know. I think Louise Sugden's been doing some of the articles on the Warhammer community site, and she's been doing some. What do they call it when you make a map? I can't think what it's called, but she's been drawing maps and stuff, which are really cool for some of the old world stuff and Warhammer Fantasy Battle game that's coming out. Well, it's called the Old World, I think now. I have started building massive death army, loads of skeleton warriors. The Night Haunts will be a good fit with them, I think. Yeah, I think they definitely will. If I was to get into Age of Sigmar in a big way, I'd have to collect, I think, a Grand Alliance. What I'd probably collect is greenskins, a Destruction Grand Alliance, basically. I'd get some greenskins, I'd get a giant or two, especially when the new ones come out, because they look like they're going to be amazing, but probably really expensive. And I'd also get some ogres, some frost ogres, or whatever they're called now, on their giant monsters, and I'd get a Maw Crusher for the orcs, because I just like big fancy models. I don't just like big fancy models, I like other models as well. But yeah, cracking back on with the chat. I keep meaning to get all of the Death Battalion battle tomes. Cyborg Miniatures do a range of Dwarf Bear Riders. Yeah, so it's Cyborg Miniatures. Thanks very much for that, the Bard. It's not necessarily the one I said, which was... I have forgotten. I think I said... I can't remember what I said, but it was another one of the third-party miniatures. So Cyborg Miniatures do a range of bears. I don't have any of the books yet, just want to play. And Cyborg do amazing minis. They do indeed. Yeah, basically the Stormcasts all over, but they are supposed to be. Yeah, the pompous and the haughty and the very... I don't know, they look down at the other races, and they bring that across in the lore, I think, that the Stormcasts, they can't relate to people, and I think that's why they have to make the Stormcast the way they are. In the book I've been listening to anyway, which is the first one in Sacrosanct and Other Stories, the Stormcast are quite unrelatable to me, because they have to make it clear that the Stormcast can't relate to mortals. And I just find it irritating, to be honest. I find them irritating. So... so far, I'm not getting into the Stormcast in any way, shape or form, lore-wise at least. Some of the miniatures are really nice. Some of the mounted miniatures, the cavalry miniatures and stuff. But the fact that they all wear the same armour, and it's all, like, most of them anyway, wear the same armour. You get people like the engineer fellas, the builders, like this guy, the Lord Ordinators, that have got the bare arms, and that creates a little bit of interest. For me, but yeah, there's not much variety in the armour of the miniatures. You get some more heavily armoured and some less heavily armoured. But where were we up to anyway with this page? I think we're up to there, weren't we? So I'll come back to that in a second. I'll just try and work my way to the bottom of the chat again. No more pullouts. Building 2 more gas components, maybe. Potentially, I've actually I've built a bit of gas and I've recorded it, so it's going to go up on Tuesday, that one, and I'll do a bit of a voiceover for it as well. I've done it as a sped up video, but there's no reason I can't do any more live gas build bits, other than the fact that I don't actually get it built, which is a bit irritating. I managed to glue 2 pieces together on Tuesday. Have you put your channels? Have you posted your channel to Hatchet's Facebook? No, I've not done. Cartop? I don't know what Cartop means. Do the battles like you do in the Conquest magazines. I'm not gonna be. Well, there's potential for me to do some battles there. I could do like the first one, the second one. But the reason I've not done so far is because I'm not necessarily going to be keeping the miniatures, but I suppose that doesn't mean I can't build them, especially because most of them are push fit miniatures. So I can build them and take them apart and convert them still after I've built them that first time. But I'm not going to be building and painting the miniatures and building and painting the forces in the same way. I do have a friend now that's been buying Mortal Realms as well. He's waiting for his second delivery still, because he's only just about 4 weeks ago subscribed to it. But yeah, I wasn't planning on getting into Age of Sigmar in the same way. I was more buying the magazines to cover it on the channel, and then use some of the miniatures for 40k conversions. But there's no reason, like I said, because a lot of them are push fit miniatures, vast majority of them push fit miniatures. No reason I can't build them and then still use them for 40k conversions in the future. Or who knows, I might actually get into Age of Sigmar properly. But it just, because I don't play an awful lot, I don't make much time to play. I don't want to be spreading my hobby time over 2 game systems. Especially when I'm so deep in 40k, I've got so many of the factions and stuff. I'd rather be working my way through my 40k factions and making little kill teams and stuff like that. But we'll see. There's definitely scope for that in the future. We'll see how I feel. Like when it gets to next Wednesday, I might decide, you know what, I'm going to build the first set of miniatures from either side and just play that battle. But we'll see. Like I said, just proxy the minis, use IF and SC. I don't know what that means. IF and SC. Oh, IF as SC. Imperial Fists as Stormcasts. No. If I was going to do it, I'd rather just do it with the actual minis. But like I said, we'll see. There's scope for that in the future. But let's crack on. So, more on the Stormkeeps. I've read that bit. Yes, I've read that bit. Right, Lord Castellan is responsible for the defence of the Stormkeeps. They carry lanterns that emit a golden glow that heals their fellow Stormcast Eternals of even the most terrible wounds. During a siege, the Lord Castellan will rush to the battle tomes of his Stormkeep to heal his allies and slay as many enemies as possible with swings from his mighty halberd. Excellent stuff. Learning more there about... Oh, this is the last page. Learning more there about another Stormcast unit. And this is just a lovely bit of artwork, sort of showing you the foot of a realm gate there with a Stormkeep surrounding it. Stormkeeps tower over the cities beneath them. Battlements and towers decorated with statues of Dracoths, great heroes of the past and icons of Sigmar. Few armies have the strength to breach their walls. There we go. That is the entire little pamphlet there, the entire pullout. Let's leave it on this page because I like that picture, that bit of art there. See if I can get him into the best position possible. Whack this there. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. So you got something nice to look at there other than my mug. I mean, my mug's nice, but you know, you don't want to be looking at it all the time, do you? Let's get back to the chat. Right, let's put some disco lights on, eh? Is that distracting with the flashing behind me? Should I change it to a smooth transition, a fade? Oh no, that's not a fade. Is it? Oh no, it is a fade. Yeah, it is a fade. I thought it just changed quickly then. I'm going to go back to my main face focus here. Wait, it's my face again. Yeah, you can see the lights changing colour behind me. Very nice. I might just switch them on to red instead. Wait, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I could use the Imperial Fist like Kev said, but I don't. I'd rather use the actual minis. I don't have to paint them, I suppose, because they're already in appropriate colours. Are there any that aren't in appropriate colours? I'm not too sure. But I do want to get building some of the... Give me a D. D. Give me an I. I. So, ooh. I don't know what's going on there from modelling for advantage. Maybe it needed to be addressed quicker. Let's have a look. Imperial Fist of Stormcast is what Kev meant. Yeah, I thought I managed to work it out in the end eventually. I watched some... I would like to see you play out the mag missions. Like I said, there's potential for that, and if enough people ask me to, and people have asked me if I'm going to be doing it at some point in the future. DISCO, I've just realised what that was going to spell. Right, so yeah, disco reference there from Modelling for Advantage in the chat. What was I saying? Yeah, there is potential to play out some of those mag missions in the future. If you do want to see them, though, definitely check out the Hobby Corner. If you're not already subscribed to Kev, make sure you do so, because he's been playing through them missions. And he's been covering them quite well on his channel. G the Hypersapien joined us in the chat. Hello, everyone. I'm probably late as again. Yeah, you're late, but not too late. I mean, to be fair, I was thinking about wrapping it up now, but seeing as though you just joined us, I'll go for another 8 minutes at least, just sitting down to eat dinner. Nice, and a nice bit of entertainment. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you think I'll be entertaining, but it remains to be seen whether I actually will be that entertaining. I'd like to see Dan play through the Mortal One visuals as well. Oh, you're all putting pressure on me. I'm going to have to do it now. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's more content for the channel at the end of the day, and I have been pondering it in recent weeks, so it's not. I don't really feel pressure to do that, but it is good content in these alternate weeks that we're not getting Mortal Realms at the minute as well. So if I can play through mission 1 week, or maybe mission 1 and 2, we'll see, and then so on and so forth, then I might even get up to speed with playing through the missions not too late after the appropriate magazine has come out, but we'll see. It all remains to be seen. Yeah, Kev from the Hobby Corner saying you could leave it to me and let me get all the views. Absolutely, I'd be more than happy to do that. Like I said, check out the Hobby Corner if you're looking for people playing through the missions. Kev does a great thing with Mortal Realms because he gets the painting done in the same way that it shows in the magazine. So he follows the guide and just walks you through it in a video. And I think sometimes the videos being shown in a video, especially if you're new to the hobby, being shown in a video how to dry brush is important, rather than them just saying wipe most of the paint off your bristles and work some of the paint into your bristles. It's better if you're shown a lot of the time, so you can work out. And if you've got any questions, you can always ask on the video, and then Kev can probably explain it to you better than in a single page of text that they try and squeeze all the information onto. Yeah, a lot of people saying they'd like to see me play through the missions. Definitely check out Kev, though, because he's already doing that. He's already giving you the content you want. I'd like to see Dan play through. Yep, read that one. I've got a shout out. Way. Enough to have shovel it down. Nice with your dinner there. Jamie Bates in the chat now as well. Have you played Space Marine Adventure Labyrinth and Necrons yet? It looks like you had it on the shelf. Yes, no, I've not played it. I bought it with the intention of playing it with my mate and his lad, because supposedly it's quite a simple game. So my mate's lad's quite young still. He's what year is it? 2020. So he's around 8 now. I think he's going to be 8 this year. And he's still quite young to play proper games of Kill Team, proper games of 40k. We do try and play Kill Team, but he can get distracted after a couple of turns. So he can do board games quite well, though, games like Kids Cluedo and stuff like that. So with a game that is a bit simpler, like that Necron Labyrinth board game, I bought that with the intention of playing it with him, but obviously a lockdown's happened since, and I've not been able to get down there since lockdown started. My mate's wee boy's been watching the vids and learning how to play. Yeah, that's what the vids are for, really. Are you going to do any conquest with orcs? Yeah, I will be doing more conquest with the orcs. But I'm not sure when it'll be. I've got another Gaz video to go up for Tuesday. That's one of the things that can annoy people about YouTube, I think. Everybody wants to get videos up about new models and stuff like that, but I'm going to be building Gaskell, so I might as well record it and get it up on my channel. I'll be having another Gaskell video up this coming Tuesday, and I'll be doing probably like painting Gaskell videos in the not too distant future as well. I've already been pondering what ideas and how to paint him slightly differently from the way other people might have been painting him. Not massively differently. I still want him to look like a goth and the goth, but yeah, there's like little touches in there, little nods to my own Death Skull clan that I want to be putting in there. Do a review on the unboxing and playing of the Necron Labyrinth. Yeah, I plan to do something like that. But at the minute with my channel, I'm getting a video up on Tuesdays, which is orc content. I'm getting a video up on Thursdays, which is Mortal Realms content. It's Thursday today. I was trying to work out what the content was. Yeah, it's Mortal Realms content, and then Sundays is Conquest content. So it's where do I put that video? I could put it on the Sundays instead of a Conquest video one week, but then it's leaving. I guess I could make the Sunday videos not just Conquest, but I do like the fact that I get the Conquest video up there regularly. So I'm not sure where to put it at the minute, because I don't want to be doing like 4 videos and 5 videos in certain weeks. But I guess sometimes channels do just do an extra video and it doesn't affect them too badly. I could start a Twitch or something and do unboxings on the Twitch. I've got other things that I would like to unbox, but I guess my Patreon, I could put them on there first and then slowly leak them out, drip feed them onto my channel in one way or another for when I'm struggling to get extra content filmed and stuff. Back to the chat. Space Marine Adventures is a fun game, very fast to play, and has 3 different difficulties. I didn't know I had 3 different difficulties. That's good to know. Even at the hardest level, it's very simple and fast game. Excellent stuff. I wish I had the time to play through my Warhammer Quest games. Your Warhammer Quest games being Blackstone 4? Oh, the Age of Sigmar Warhammer Quest games, I imagine. The minis in that were fantastic. I almost bought that based on just some of the miniatures that you got in there, especially like the Dark Elf Mage sort of character. And the Stormcast in there is quite a good miniature as well, actually, considering I'm not a huge fan of Stormcasts. Has he got a helmet on? I'm not sure. That's one thing I wasn't a huge fan of in the lore, or not in the lore, but in the model line, when they started releasing Stormcasts without helmets. And they show them, they paint them in the artwork like this guy. I'll go back to the desk cam. Like this guy, you can see in the picture, he's got his helmet off and he just looks human. There's nothing like ethereal looking about him or anything like that. I found it quite disappointing. I see the Stormcast as something quite sinister. At the end of the day, they've been brought back from death time and again. And that's not reflected in the artwork, and it's not reflected in the... it's neither reflected in the artwork nor in the way they paint the miniatures, Games Workshop. So that's one of the reasons they hold less appeal to me. If there was like sinister overtones there or undertones, an undercurrent of sinisterness, then the Stormcast might appeal to me a bit more. I understand they are trying to keep them as the good faction, like they try and keep Space Marines as the good faction in 40k, but really Space Marines are horrendous. The Imperium is a horrendous place to live. Imagine trying to live in the Imperium, and the laws they have, the way they implement the laws and implement religious zealotry and stuff like that is absolutely horrendous. I wouldn't want to live there. I'd rather live in like an Eldar society or an Orc society. At least you know where you stand in an Orc society. It's really simple. You got to try and fight. That's it. Simple as that. But yeah, back over to the chat again. Let's have a look. Myself and some friends were going to start the Mortal Realms and so on, but the pandemic has put a halt to these plans. Yeah, it's a shame the way it's affected gaming. One thing that I was thinking about in the past couple of days is the whole idea of isolation, and when you go out in public, you're supposed to stay 6 feet away from people. And I thought to myself, how big is a gaming table? Like, a gaming table is supposed to be 6 foot by 4 foot for a full-size game of 40k or a full-size game of Age of Sigmar. 6 foot by 4 foot. Surely, if you play it long ways, you're abiding by social distancing rules that are advised in the UK. So it's you could make that argument. Go and play on someone's driveway. Although you're not supposed to visit people, you can meet with them in parks at the minute, but not supposed to visit them in a house. But go and set up a table on someone's driveway, and as long as you stay at the other end of the table, the long way, so 6 foot length, then you're remaining socially distant from them. But even if you wanted to play the short length, all the other person has to do is step back 2 feet from the table while you crack on with your moves, and then it's still maintaining that social distance. But obviously you might be touching certain things that they've touched and so on and so forth. It's just a little fun thing I'd like to point out there, or I find it fun thinking about things like that anyway, because I'm a bit weird, a bit of a geek. Back in the chat. I got Blackstone Fortress with that when that came out. Looks good, but not had the chance to play it myself. I've got Blackstone Fortress and I have played it. I've not painted the miniatures though. But yeah, it's a fun game. I played a few games with my mate, and it's a nice. It's a simple game, especially if you've got a few friends you can play with. I think it's one of those games that you can just have fun, and it'll take an evening to play. And you can play if you finish one quest too quickly, like in 45 minutes or something like that, and you've got the rest of the evening still to play. You can start another quest until you've finished that quest, and some quests take longer than others. And yeah, it is a fun game. But it's been that long since I've played it though. All of the rules have kind of left my head. I kind of wish though there was more. I know there's you can take a flash kit as an auxiliary character. Is that what they call them? Auxiliary characters. You can take a flash kit as one of them, but I wish there was like a freebooter orc character you could take as one of the heroes. That'd be kind of cool. But at least you put orcs in there somehow. And yeah, it's coming to a close soon, the Blackstone Fortress, with some of the latest releases they revealed in the past few Saturdays of releases. Guys, Hatchet has a bunch of unsold issues on sale on the webpage. Yeah, they re-released some Conquest issues, and there could be some Mortal Realms issues, I don't know, on their webpage. I'll open the Hatchet site now and find out for you. Hatchet Part Works. Shop now. Oh, Mortal Realms, let's click on that. Look at that. Oh, they've got loads of unsold issues on the website there. So they've got issue 3, which has got some Stormcast reinforcements in, I think, or is it just the Castigators? I'm not sure. Issue 4, which looks like it's got the Thorns of the Briar Queen in. Issue 5 has the limited edition miniature. They've got that on there. Issue 6, issue 6 is Thorns of the Briar Queen. Issue 4 must be the easy to build Mermon Banshees, or Maya. I always get the pronunciations wrong. It's one of the things about reading these magazines when you're not sure of pronunciation, because the words most of the time aren't real words. So it's I just try and say it with confidence and hope people don't correct. Well, not hope people. If I'm saying it wrong and it irritates you, feel free to say. But it doesn't mean I'll change the way I say it, because sometimes it becomes habit, doesn't it? They've got issue 7 to issue 10. Then they've out of stock on issue 11, which is the one with the Sigmarite Mausoleum, the first part, the actual mausoleum buildings. And then issue 12 they've got on there as well, which is the one with the Grave Wraith or whatever she's called. Can't remember her name. The Banshee. The Grave Banshee. I don't know what she's called. And then issue 13, and then 14 and 15 are out of stock. Issue 16 is released next week. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to go to the loo. But I'm not going to leave you, so stick around. I'll be back in a matter of moments when I put the thumbnail up. Right, let's get back to it. I'll catch up with the chat, and you'll notice I've put the Gascon miniature in front of you. I just wanted to show you where I was up to with it in case you were watching the stream the other day. G the Hype Sapien saying, is it on Hatchet's website? Yes, it is, but I don't know, is Mortal Realms available in Australia yet? I'm not too sure. I know it launched in the UK and Spain at the same time. I'm not sure actually how far they are into the subscription, if they've had the same delays we've had here in the UK, because I know it was it stated on the letter that we received in the UK it was UK only. They'll be getting it every 2 weeks. But let's have a look. Hatchet restocked all Conquest. They restocked all Conquest last week and it's sold out again since. Yeah. How you doing, Steve-O? Good to see you in the chat. Apparently it's announced Hachet. Well, I'm going to say Hatchet because that's how it looks to me. I'm not bothered about the pronunciation of Hatchet because it looks like Hatchet. But yeah, Hachet. I've heard people pronounce it like Hachet. I think who was it now? Was it I can't think what the channel's called, but is it Always Bored Never Boring? The board game and miniatures channel. I've heard someone, I think it was that channel, pronounce it Hachet a fair bit. Damn, it's hot today, says Steve-O. Yeah, it's warm today. It's muggy. It's muggy. I went out this morning to Lidl. Got in the queue nice and early, and then we got in pretty quick, to be fair. And it was muggy outside, but I took a coat because it was spitting at the time. So I thought if it starts chucking it down, if like a storm, because it was quite cloudy, if a storm cracks open the skies, I better take a coat just in case. But I wasn't in the queue for that long anyway, and but then I had to change a bulb in my car as well when I got out a little. So change a bulb in my car and pump up one of my tyres. So I did all that. It's nice to be outside though. Past few weeks I've been too busy to go outside, so it's been a bit frustrating. But then this week I've been outside 3 days in a row now. Excellent stuff for me. I don't have a garden to go outside in. I've just got a little yard, and it's like a little dirty, depressing yard. So I don't go out there. It's just like bins and a bit of moss. But yes, it is muggy today, Steve. Or hot today, rather. Yeah, too hot for me. Yeah, in the UK, when we say it's too hot today, it's typically about 20 odd degrees, and like centigrade, Celsius, whatever. And it's typically about that hot, and people in other countries think that's not hot at all. That's a cold day, and of course it is a cold day to some people. But when you get your average yearly temperature of about 10 degrees, then double that and a bit more, 150% on top of that is pretty hot. Moving down the chat, humid weather is crap. Yeah, G the Hypersapien. Debo Locks, anything more than 2 shakes is playing with yourself. That is correct. Although I think I always do more than 2 shakes. Not to say that I intentionally play with myself, but you know, I do. If you want to see me play with myself, just watch my videos on Sundays, my Conquest Battle Report tutorial mission videos, and then you can see me playing with myself there. I've been to countries far hotter, but I find it easier as it's a dry heat. Yeah, when I went to Florida, it was ages ago now, about 12 years ago. It was hot there, but it wasn't like really humid or anything the time I went. Although occasionally there was like the massive storm build up, and just the skies opened up in the most amazing way. I've never seen anything, or I've seen something like it in the UK every now and again. But when a storm starts there, it just starts, and then water just pours out of the sky, and it's absolutely amazing to be in. Yes. When I lived in England, I think about 24 was hot. Yeah, it was 24 was as hot as it got, maybe a bit less. I think last year we had temperatures of about 35 on certain days. I think like 37 in the hottest part of the country. But it just shows what global warming is doing to the world, I suppose. Mortal Realms isn't done. Conquest isn't ended yet. Yes. So yeah, talking about Mortal Realms in Australia. It's not available yet in Australia. I imagine this situation with lockdown and that it's going to put back any potential launch dates for Mortal Realms as well. And if eventually Conquest gets launched in the US and in North America, so US, Canada, is Mexico in North America or Central America? I always get mixed up. I know they play the North American teams in football, qualifying for the World Cup and stuff, but I'm never quite sure if it's in North America or Central. But anyway, yeah, the launch of Mortal Realms of Conquest, I was speculating it might launch when it finishes over here in North America, but it hasn't done so far. So we'll have to see if they do get it eventually, or maybe they won't. You never know. They do get certain things over there that we've not had yet over here, like certain things that they sell in Barnes and Noble and Target and stuff, but not much. We tend to obviously get more stuff that they don't get than they get stuff that we don't get, because at the end of the day, GW is a British company, so you kind of expect that if they were going to do exclusive stuff, you'd expect it to be mainly UK focused. However, there is stuff like the Space Marine Hero sets that are exclusive to Japan, but I think that's more to do with the way they expect people to consume the product there as well. We've got 12 people watching now. Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me. All the Mortal Realms side of this stream is kind of finished now. As you can probably tell by the guy that's on the desk in front of you, all the Mortal Realms streams is kind of finished now, and yeah, I'll put that there to just give you a little treat of a reminder of what we did watch. Yeah, so all the Mortal Realms streams finished now, and yes, let's crack on. Got people chatting in the chat saying, where are you in Australia? Billy Binks in Melbourne. G the Hypersapien, I think, is in Adelaide. It says ADL. I'm guessing that's Adelaide. I'm stuck in the valley, so always humid here. Yeah, it's a beggar when it's like that. I say it like you, Dan. Yeah, there's only one way to say it, isn't there? Kev, try to correct me. What's that about? Let's scroll back up the chat. That is flying by, that chat. Oh, that's just getting glare off there, isn't it? Ah! Right, I keep forgetting I should be talking. If I go quiet, the whole stream goes quiet, doesn't it? If they keep restocking, that will be good. I want more Graves armor. Yeah, it'll be excellent if they do keep restocking. Gravis armor, I assume you mean there. No way is it Hache. That's mental and clearly wrong. Obviously, Steve-O, it's wrong. I say Hatchet. I say Hatchet too. We're going to get a big storm soon. We need one to cool the air down. Yeah, that's the thing. When we typically get hot days in the UK, it's often followed by... I'll tell you what, you know what? I'm going to change that to green because, although I don't think the green shows up that well. Yeah, there we go. Got some green in the background, a bit more orky there. Yeah, when we get hot weather in the UK, it's often followed by a big storm because the hot weather's forced in by high pressure and air currents and stuff. And then because of where we are in the world, with the I'm not an expert here, but because of where we are in the world, with the jet stream, we quite often, that's why we get such varied weather sometimes in the UK. 1 minute it'll be like a bright sunny day like this, the next minute it'll start chucking it down out of nowhere, and sometimes we'll get like 3 types of weather in a day, but that's, you know, rare. It's few and far between. But yeah, we get hot weather, cold weather, and crazy windy weather all in one day, stuff like that. Hatchet like Pratchett, that's what the bard says, and that's what I say. The chat is going off today. The chat room took a dark turn. Colorado in May, 40 degrees out, and you don't feel it as there's no humidity. Yeah, that's it's not too bad when it's like that. Although you just got to be aware of how long you're out in the sun for, I guess. Especially when you've got ginger skin like me. I'm not ginger, never been ginger, but my skin acts like a ginger person's skin. I'm so pale, it's crazy. When I was a kid, I got really badly burnt on one of the first holidays I went on. Like a massive half an egg-sized blister on my arm, on one arm. Got that sorted out though since. Yeah, I'll most likely not get into Mortal Realms as I'm an Orc Chaos fan in Warhammer. Some of the Orc miniatures, Iron Jaws and stuff in Mortal Realms are really nice, but you can just as easily convert them into miniatures for 40k. Night Hunt is a bit meh. The idea is cool. Wow, my thing just fell down. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to, because that's fallen down twice now. I think it fell down before I started streaming properly. Just trying to adjust that to get it to thingy. But I will stop this one eventually. I've got at the minute I've not got enough camera holding devices to have one holding my camera above my desk like this, my phone above my desk. So what I've done is set up a series of clamps in the hope that that sort of holds it all in place. However, it's not the most stable thing in the world, and it just fell down then. But yeah, I've sorted it now. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, some of the Age of Sigmar Orc miniatures are really nice, the green skin miniatures. But you can just as easily convert them into 40k orc miniatures if you want to buy those miniatures, so there's no need to play Age of Sigmar really. As an orc player, from an orc perspective, that is. I'm going to make my face a little bit bigger. Well, hey, look at that. Magic. Yeah. Right, so here we've got Gaskell. We've got a Gaskell miniature here, and I just want to show you this before I finish the stream. I'm not going to be finishing just yet, but that's where I'm up to with the Gaskell miniature, basically. Yeah, so that'd be roughly what it looks like. I was surprised at the size, to be honest. He's not much bigger than a killer can. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised at the size of him, but I'd like him to be a bit bigger, but I know certain people like Steve-O don't want him to be too big. So I can understand they have to please a certain amount of hobbyists. And also, if they made him much bigger, it'd be a 70, 80, 90 pound kit, wouldn't it? Whereas, hopefully, when he's released as an individual kit, it'll be more like a 40 pound kit, something like that. You may have noticed if you watched the stream the other day, I got a little bit of damage. I snapped that this piece of tubing here. I snapped that off, but I've managed to repair that. It feels quite sturdy now, actually. I've whacked a load of plastic glue all over it. But yeah, I'm keeping these two bits separate. Oh, my stomach's starting to rumble now. It's 20 past 12 here, so I'm tempted to end the stream soon and grab some lunch. Keeping these two bits separate because I want to be able to paint his orc flesh on the arm here nicely. I suppose, will that fit on there when that's attached there? No, because I'd like to get some green on there as well first. You can't see much of his right arm, his gun arm, when he's got the armour on at the top of the bit of armour comes out here. You can't see much of his arm apart from the back. I was looking on the Games Workshop website before on the spinny bit to see how much of his arm you could actually see. You can't see any of it from the front, but you can see a bit from the back, so I need to make sure I paint this arm, so that's why I'm keeping that separate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the front bits of the gun on first, and then I'm going to spray it, undercoat it, and then I'll take these two bits apart, and then I'll paint all the green on the arm there, but it'll mean that I've not sprayed all these sections that you need to glue together. That's what I'm hoping to do anyway, and I'm hoping it goes nice and smoothly like that, but we'll see. I'm going to trial some new contrast paint techniques for that as well. So what I've had the thought of doing in the past, I do it for dark skinned flesh of like Central African flesh. I paint a dark oath flesh first on the skin, and then I paint like a wildwood or a dark brown over that, and then bits of the dark earth flesh show through, and I think it gives you quite a natural skin tone, where sometimes if you're just painting a dark brown and hoping that gives you a good dark skin tone, for me that looks a bit wooden, a bit like not really like flesh. So I'm going to potentially try some dark earth flesh on certain. I'll try it on another orc miniature first. Try the dark earth flesh, and then some of the greens. I've got Militarum green, and I've got Nurgling green. I think it's Nurgling green. It's one of the Nurgly type greens. I'm going to try a mixture of them over the flesh to give me some sort of Caucasian flesh sort of flesh tone showing through, but more on the face than on the arms really. That you tend to see people paint now, like around all the areas that be hot and that are entrances to the body basically, because orcs still have green blood, despite everything in my head tells me orcs should have green blood. Did I say green then? Orcs still have red blood, despite everything in my mind telling me they should have green blood or blue blood or something, you know, a different colour from red that you typically see. I've been watching a lot of the Warhammer TV live streams on Twitch, and they say the reason they keep the orc and the Tau and all the other races to keep their blood red is so that when you paint it on a miniature, you can immediately tell what that's supposed to be. Because if you just splashed a load of green paint all over a chainsword, it just looked like he's been chopping up plants or something. Whereas you splash a load of red blood on the chainsword and there's an orc head on the base or something, then it makes more sense then. You can immediately recognise, well, that chainsaw's chopped that orc's head off, rather than if it's got green paint all over it. And from that point of view, it's that argument actually really makes sense, I think. Despite the fact that it's not, in my head, I think orcs should have green blood or, a colour that's not red anyway. Let's go back to the chat, see how fast we can get through this chat now. Adelaide is correct. I was right about that. I got friends about 3 hours outside Melbourne. Forget the name of the town. It's weird. Makes Welsh place names look normal. Yeah, Welsh place names are hard to pronounce for most English-speaking people. Because the letters make completely different sounds. But Australian place names are, to English people, quite often they sound funny, like amusing, like Wollongong, and because they're just the words that they just sound like bing bong. They just sound like you're making noises. But obviously, that's just a place name. There are some place names like that in the UK as well. There's a place called Knob End in the UK. Or at least a road. I'm not sure if it's a place or a road. There's a Knob End and there's a few others that sound quite amusing. Yeah, it's because a lot of Australia is Aboriginal names. Yeah, so what sounds in English like just a noise that you'd make, it's actually it's based because the name is from another language, basically. Yeah, Welsh names are unpronounceable, like those outside the country. To those outside the country, sorry. Prophecy of the Wolf. Will you paint the Marines as Space Wolf or as Imperial Fist to go with your Conquest Army? I will be painting them as Imperial Fist to go with my Conquest Army. I'm still undecided as to whether I'll try and convert Ragnar into an Imperial Fist, like an Emperor's Champion or something like that, or just some kind of Imperial Fist hero. I'm still undecided because some people on my stream the other day were saying they hate the Ragnar sculpt. I really like the Ragnar sculpt, so I'm tempted to just build him and paint him as Ragnar and then have him as a mini diorama facing off against Ghazghkull in my cabinet, but we'll see. There's plenty of scope for that to change. Steve-O saying it's either Casper White or Lobster Red. Yeah, that's very much the same for me. I go bright red when if I get burnt, I get burnt. It's no good. Although when I'm driving my wagon, if I'm out on the road or anything, driving for any length of time, my arm's up on the near the window there, like that. I'm just driving along. I'm driving my wagon. Then obviously my right arm actually does tan a bit now. It doesn't go as red as it used to when I was younger. Apologies if the screen has changed. Somebody just tried to call me, even though I've got Do Not Disturb on. He must have tried to call me 3 times in the last minute. That's irritating. Anyway, it looks like the stream's still on, so it's fine. A lot of people having conversations in the chat, which is fantastic. Good to see. Orcs have pink blood, according to Eddie Brennan. I'm not too sure about that. I mean, looks red to me when GW paint it, so I'm going to stick with what GW say. Eddie Brennan saying in the chat we need to keep Dan on all day now. We're on a mission. There's 11 viewers now. I'm going to call it there, guys. It's been a fun stream. I'll come back to the face focus camera so you can just see my face there. Yeah, I'm going to call it there because I am getting hungry. And when my tummy starts rumbling and I start getting distracted, I'll go even quieter than I have been doing, than I have been staying. So I'll stay. Well, I'll try and end the chat and then I'll try and wrap it up. But if you guys keep putting messages in the chat, I'm just gonna have to ignore the chat after a little while. We'll see. It's 12:30 here. Yes, it is. I'm gonna take my phone off there. I prefer a night more peaceful. Got to go make the kids some lunch. Thanks, Dan, and I'll see you soon. Yeah, see you soon, mate. I'm gonna go grab some lunch myself now. Just need dinner. Nice day to stream, Dan. I'm gonna go get lunch. Excellent. Enjoy your lunch, Steve. I'm gonna grab mine too soon. I prefer night myself as always. You'll end up eating Gaz. I think I will, and then I'll have to buy another Prophecy of the Wolf box set. So, on that note, I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Tune in for the next one whenever that happens. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'll try and alert people on social media, on the various Facebook pages I'm on, etc, etc. It'll be on the 40k Orc community. If you've not already checked out the 40k Orc community, follow the link in the description below. There should be one there to the 40k Orc community. There's also a link to the Wargaming Unification group on Facebook. Feel free to join there. Check out my Patreon if you've got the time and the funds to do so to help out the channel. I'd very much appreciate that. But there's no pressure to do so, of course. Don't forget to like the video if you've not already done so. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Oh, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. What else? Press your alert bell. YouTube doesn't really work very well with alerts, but press the alert bell if you want to be notified when my videos go live and when I go live. And select alert for all option, and then you might get some alerts. I get alerts for Frost and Fists. I know that when I'm asleep on a Saturday morning. Like their Friday night, like normally about 3 o'clock I get an alert on my phone for Frost and Fist went live about half an hour ago. But yeah, YouTube's a bit hit and miss with alerts, but press that alert bell if you want to, and you might get a notification when I go live or when I upload a video as well. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll leave it there for now, and I will see you on the battlefield.